Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite an honor to be able to speak in front of you on this very prestigious convention. And I'd like to have the themes of the, I cannot see, oh, it's over there. The theme of this uh, session is actually try to have a bridging to make sure the gap between the government and investors perspective on investment climate will be able to be closed. So let me start by the investment climate because of this is the one that, let me try to, sorry. The investment climate, as we know, there are three pillars for the investment climate, namely fiscal attractiveness, and number two is ease of doing business, and number three is prospectivity. The last keynote speakers from McKinsey have two of these pillars about fiscal attractiveness and prospectivity plotted on a graph, which is very interesting that Indonesia from prospectivity is quite good, but for the fiscal terms need to be improved. So, but that need to be worked out in detail. Let me start with this. For my discussion, I would like to focus on two things, on the investments climate and also the ease of doing business. Let me start for the investment and fiscal attractiveness. Let's start with this next. All right, let's set up the background. You can see from the graph that there is always a downward trend of productions. This is because of we have the major field, most of them, and then our target is to rebound the graph, and hopefully by 2030 we will have, as we always mention, 1 million barrels per day and 12 BCF per day gas, and this is really needed by our country because our demand is growing, even though in the pandemic it's going down, but we see that it's now rebounds, and the gap will be bigger and bigger if we are not closing by increasing the production. And we can see that the investments to rebounds is really very challenging. Looking at the from the previous speaker also, we can see that the global investment trend is actually moving toward the non-renewable to the renewable, and then we also see that even in the global investment for the upstreams, we see that there is a trend that it's going down almost 30% from the previous before COVID, and even though it is moving up, but it's very slow. And we understand that this Indonesia, as already mentioned, our competitiveness is actually from the scale of average 3.3, our competitiveness is ranking 2.4. So it's the level is need to be improved, and we understand that to improve, one of the sectors that we can improve is fiscal incentive, and if we are not doing that fiscal incentive, of course, the attractiveness and eventually the deficit will be bigger and bigger. So this is the point that we want to focus on, try to make sure that we have improving the fiscal attractiveness. Start the next slide, please. All right, we can see also from the graph that other countries is looking of improving the fiscal attractiveness, as mentioned before, that the hotspot probably will be targeting by almost 80% of the fiscal investments for the investments target, while 15 to 20% will be challenging for all these non-hotspot countries. And we can see Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, East Timor, and Australia is already improving the fiscal. But fortunately, as already informed this morning by Dirjen Migas, that Indonesia already improved, and we have started the second bidding round for this year. As you can see from the second bidding round, the terms is quite impressive, it's quite attractive. Our new bidding round, the split is actually all the way already improved to 50%, 50-50 between the investor and the government. And that is before tax, and after tax it's going to be like 80%. So it's similar with the Malaysia and Vietnam. So we believe with that, we really appreciate that the investor will be able to compare, and hopefully they will invest more attractively in Indonesia. But to do that, we also really need the big players, because we have an indication that our big players is really need to be reinvested in Indonesia. We can see here like Shell, Total is no longer in Indonesia. We really need them to come back, because our target to have a big fish, to have big discoveries, normally in the frontier area where the big players have much more capabilities to be able to materialize that big discovery. Next, please. We can see here that the effort in improving fiscal attractiveness, it is very needed, because as we can see, our productions is reducing and have a downward trend. This is because of most of our field is actually on in a mature field where we have a natural declining. And of course, with the nature declining, we need to have new or more investments to make sure that that declining can be rebounds. And on top of that, we need to have to explore more frontier area to have a much better resources to improve, to reach our target. And we can see here that the government is improving the fiscal terms, namely peraturan pemerintah 53 and 27, that is actually need to be improved, because of there is some limitations that need to be loosened. For example, for PP 53, we government's regulation 53 2017 is actually need to increase the durations of the, this is for gross split. I think we are not discussing with the Minister of Finance to make sure that we Minister of Energy and Minister of Finance agree on improving this, to make sure that we have able to extend the application of this PP 53 for all these gross split production sharing scheme. And for PP 27, for the cost recoveries, there is some improvement that need to be done, and we still discussing for this, especially for the tax and also DMO that need to be improved. On top of that, we also understand we try to listen for the IPA, for the investors, that Indonesian participations, which is already decided to have maximum 10%. This is also need to be improved, and we are working on it. Hopefully in the near future, we are able to settle and find the solutions. And the one that has been concluded is actually Ministerial Decree 199, which was issued, I believe, last month. This is a guideline for the incentive, mostly for the operations of working areas, but also not limited also to the new working areas. Next. Let's discuss on the policy and regulations. This is try to discuss more detail on this new regulation that has been approved and ready to be implemented. Next, please. This is going to discuss about Minister's Decrees 199/2021 about criteria for granting incentive. This criteria has been worked out together with not only Migas, but also with SKK and also the Ministry of Finance and also the BPKP, the audit. And basically we try to have a guideline. First, we already agree on principles that to optimize the impacts both for the government and for the contractors. This is before we only focusing on the governments, but now we also need to consider both the governments and the contractors. So it's going to be a win-win, because if the contractor cannot invest, then the government doesn't have the investors to exploit and produce the working area. Number two is the economic parameters. We are using normally only internal rate of returns, but we also use the profitability index. This is very appropriate for the producing working area, where normally the investment is have a major factors influencing the returns. And then the criteria, we already developed criteria for a reasonable of rate of return and product profitability index based on the statistics and also based on international data that we need to compare to make sure that we are still competitive. On top of that, we have on this general criteria, we also have a specific criteria where we also consider technical aspects, the difficulties such as EOR, and also non-technical aspects such as strategic locations of this working area. If it is a remote area in the boundaries of Indonesia, then we probably will have more incentive. Number four, on the scope and eligibility, we cover both old and new working area, so it's cover both. And then for the type of incentive or in the instruments, we try to cover all of the instruments, but we try to focus more on the one that is authorized in Ministry of Energy, ASDM, which is like split, FTP, investment credit, and depreciations, accelerations. For DMO, we need to work out with the Minister of Finance, but hopefully we try to make sure that this DMO will be able to be delegated fully to Minister of Energy, so it will be simplified the application of this incentive. Let's move on to the more detail of the guideline. As you can see that this has been approved and we can start from the starting point where the KTKS, the contractors can propose the incentive if they feel that they need to have incentive, and then need to go to the SKK, try to make sure that the that proposal is qualified. We need to check, make a prudent check on this, and then to have analysis whether this is meet our requirement or not. If all the assessment, all the data still not complete and accurate, we need to return. But if it is already accurate, then we need to go to the next step, which is try to screen for the general criteria that has been mentioned before. So if this has been already passed with the general criteria, which is really need to be to have incentive, then we move to the recommendations of incentive to the Minister of Energy. But if not, we are not stopping there. We still need to evaluate whether there is some specific criteria need to be considered. If it is meet the specific criteria like strategic locations, technical difficulties, then if it is really meet that specific criteria, we can also recommend to the ministers. But if not, then we consider that it's not really needed to have an incentive. So that basically for the fiscal attractiveness. Let's move on to the ease of doing business. Next slide, please. So this ease of doing business is very important because Indonesia need to work very hard to simplify. We can see from the this morning speaker from Thailand that they have able to do this permit within 1 month or 3 months, and Indonesia still years. So we need to really simplify and try to speed up the permit and all the bureaucratic administrations. The minister's decree has been enacted, number 123, 2021. This is, we set up a coordination team, which consists of multi-ministerial and lembaga. And the objective try to make sure the coordinations of the ministerial and the body government bodies is actually can be improved, supplementing or complementing the OSDP from BKPM. But from the discussions, we feel like that there will be a requirement, a need for presidential regulations to make sure that all the one that has been identified can be solved. We can see here that there is a need of simplification of licensings. We have identified that there will be 4 clusters. Try to cluster all these almost hundreds of licensings, and then we need to strengthen and improving the BKPM system or one-stop integrated services. And then there will be already a discussions on the mechanisms, how to make sure that it will be able to be much quicker and simple, efficient, and at the same time accountable and have a lower cost because simplifications. And then we need to also identify the need to improve coordinations between licensing across the ministries and the government bodies and also the local government, so that the proposed presidential decrees is still being draft. Hopefully in very near futures we are able to issue that and help shortens the permit requirement. Hopefully will be closer to what have the Thailand has been achieved very short time. And finally, last slide, we on the multi-department support. Next, please. we know that this will not be able to be carried out by the Minister of ASDM or SKK. We need to have support for all the ministers and government bodies related. So especially for the Minister of Finance. And then this is for the fiscal, of course, Minister of Finance will have a very vital role, and we are discussing intensively with the Minister of Finance, has been explained by Pak Arifin Hadoko, and that we have set several teams working on these issues, and hopefully by end of this year we are able to settle and have a common understanding how to tackle this one. Namely, the subject that we have discussed is like DMO full price for the cost recovery, income tax and tariff adjustment, BPT exemption for new investments, indirect tax exemption, and assume and discharge reinstatement. There is some immediate action that can be done, and we are doing it intensively, and there is some long terms that need to be done. We also doing it parallelly. As I mentioned before, that the immediate thing that we can do is actually on revisions and improving the PP 27 and PP 53. That's for gross paid and cost recovery. For PP 27s, we are talking about extension for applications because it has been limited for 6 months. It's already expired. We need to reopen again. And for the PP, also DMO price, and that's also for revision of tax exemptions. So for the long terms, we are discussing now intensively with SKK and others how to make sure that in next revisions of MIGAS law, law number 22, 2001, we are able to return, assume and discharge back to the law of number 8, 1971. And hopefully with that, it will be, will make all the fiscal terms and the systems of oil and gas will be much more simpler and competitive. So at the end of the day, cross-ministerial coordination is really needed to perform excellent plan for supporting the growth of investment in Indonesia for the oil and gas industry. I think that's what I want to convey. Thank you very much, Pak Ali.